Hello guys, today's video is all about hip mobility, and these are going to include progressions for the beginner all the way to advanced level. Hip mobility is something I'm very passionate about. It can contribute to low back pain, knee pain, and so to keep your hips mobile is so great at preventing any kind of muscle imbalance that's going to lead to pain. To get the best benefit, you want to work through these movements daily. You can be doing these before a workout, after a workout, but consistency is key to keeping you fit for life. Let's get started. We're starting off with hip mobility. Open your hip wide. Work to keep your knee in line with your body. Contract your glutes as you raise. And in this case, you're going to be using your right glute as your right knee bends. Contract and squeeze that glute to lift your body back up while keeping your chest up and your scapula down and back. We're moving on in our hip mobility progressions. You're going to keep your shoulders level and your hips level as you raise your foot and take it over the box, lifting it from the back, bringing it over the box to the front. It will be helpful to stand beside something that is knee level or slightly lower, and you're going to keep your hips level, shoulders level and straight forward, so you're not leaning to one side or another to allow your foot to come up and over the box. Notice that the foot is coming up at the back and up at the front and is just leading the knee as it rotates at the hip. Again, make sure your body is not leaning to one side or the other. The hips stay level and the shoulder stays level, and the only movement is coming from the rotation at the hip. We're moving on to squat progressions for the Asian squat, and we're going to squat against the wall. We're going to find our center of gravity. Start with your feet 4 to 6 inches away from the wall, and then you're going to sit back with your rear end. Your knees are spread wide, they're coming forward, but notice that you're not gripping the wall. They're just, your knees meet the wall and then come away. Chest stays up, and you're going to work towards the wall until your toes touch the wall and you find your center of gravity and you no longer fall. We're moving away from the wall into the Asian squat. We're going to feel what feels right as far as foot placement, what makes the most sense for our body shape. You're going to lead with the rear end, keeping your back flat and your chest up. If you need to round the back like I'm doing here, give yourself a rest. That way you're only holding the squat for a few seconds before you kind of play around with your balance and find your center of gravity. You can keep your feet close like this. You can also widen your stance. See if that helps. Keep yourself chest upright and your back flat. We're going to try to hold this for 30 seconds or greater. Our next mobility progression is the Cossack squat. Holding on to something, sit your rear end back far enough that your knees are at 90 degrees. You're going to feel your glutes engaged to lift your body. You're going to keep your knees in line with your toes. And you're going to start shallow and then just work deeper and deeper into a full range Cossack squat while you're holding on to something. Eventually you'll move from holding on to a bar. You may find it helpful to have a weight in your hand to use as a counterbalance, working low. Eventually we'll sit down on the floor. You want to make sure your knees are in line with your toes. Chest stays up, and engage your glutes to lift your body. For our next movement, we're making sure our glutes engage properly. You're going to stand up straight, then stick your rear end back. Let your knee follow suit. Your knee is going to be positioned over your ankle. Squeeze the rear end of the bent leg to lift your body. Make sure this is a slow movement. Again, your knee and your rear end push back. Your chest is coming forward, and you're going to squeeze the rear end, making sure that it's engaging to lift your body. Our quads take over so often. Make sure that your knee is in line with your toe and that your knee and hip are moving away from your body, not towards your midline. This should not be a fast movement. Again, make sure this is very slow and controlled. Grip your rear end if you need to make sure you feel it engaging and that it's doing the work. Our next mobility movement is the lunge. You want to start and make sure that you're able to come into a lunge that's 90-90. That means the front foot the knee of the front foot is at 90 degrees. The knee of the back leg is also at 90 degrees. Notice that your hip, your knee, and your toe are all in alignment, slightly pointing away from the body. You don't want your toe pointing towards your midline. You want to be able to step back into a long lunge for the next progression and really keep your balance, keep your belly button pulled in and engaged. Practice coming into a forward lunge from a standing position and then into a backwards lunge, working that deep lunge. You'll most likely feel it in your hip flexor of the back leg. That's okay. Don't forget to engage your quads, your hamstrings, and your rear end on the working leg. That's your front leg. And keep your weight in your toes, your heels, and the outside of your foot. If you found these movements difficult today, be encouraged. That's an exciting place to start. I love looking for things that I can't do so that I can start progressing, learning how to do them. Keep going with this video. I'd play this video every day this week. Keep going until you master your mobility. That's what we do this for. It's so fun to grow in strength and mobility, to get better today than we were yesterday. I hope you found this video useful, and I'm so thankful that you're here joining me. God bless.